This video is called Leaving Central Jail. I'm a little bit sick, so I might cough. And I realize that people want to hear from me because they know that my website has been hacked. And unless you're following me on social media, you don't know how much I was hacked. But yes, my website is permanently down. Squarespace is not responding to the 3 complaints and the 2 surveys that I put in. My email is working again. I can send messages. You can send me messages. But they're still, doing the hack in every way that can happen, which means what? That the last blog that I wrote was the most important. Probably the last video that I made with Kisena about the Russian roulette of reincarnation was also right on the money. So go ahead and watch those, plus my playlist that is called Defunding the Matrix. Today the video is called Leaving Central Jail. So people really want to know how to get out of here. This whole room, Yaldabaoth's realm, is hacked all the way to the 12th dimension. So if you look at the ancient Egyptians, I'm talking about before Anubis has the pharaoh's face, when Anubis was the protector and the guardian of the dead, back before Egypt was also completely hacked and made part of the cataclysm grid called the Phoenix grid. But there was an ancient Egypt. And if you look at how the Hathor group would take a little bit of poison with someone standing by with the antidote, and they would learn about how to go through the gates of death. So they knew that every level of this simulation was hacked. So yes, the void is there. It's a hack. Heaven or nirvana is there. It's also a hack. The machine elves and the life review are definitely a hack. All different levels, like if you read the Yoga Sutras, they said there are many worlds. Don't be distracted by any of those worlds. There'll be places with crystal palaces. You think you've arrived in some other galactic civilization. Yes, that's also hacked. So part of leaving Central Jail is how you live your life here. And Neem Karoli Baba, who is a Baba from India who has left Central Jail, had a very interesting way of explaining that this, even in the ashram, even in his domestic life, which he left, even as like the chief or like tribal leader of his people, which he left, everything that you're attached to in this realm will hold a thread on you in what I call the other world. So Neem Karoli Baba made it very clear that this was Central Jail and he was being held against his will. And when he decided to leave, he actually said that day, "I'm leaving Central Jail now." Now, during his life, he was not attached to his role as guru. He was not attached to his role with any of the mas and the beautiful feminine yoginis who were around him. He loved them, but he was not attached to them. So one of the things that I know is anything that you're attached to in this realm will be a thread back into the trap, into the reincarnation Russian roulette. And I've also watched some other videos of pre-birth experiences and also near-death experiences. And in each of those, they don't realize that they're already in the matrix and they're being pushed to make a deal with the machine elves, which they don't know are machine elves. But in this realm, are you praying? And I wrote about that in my blogs. My blogs are all gone, okay? Are you making deals? When somebody hacks your website, do you pray? Do you ask for assistance? The moment that you do that, you have created the trauma bond with the oppressor. So the number one thing is whatever you're doing here to give away your power and your sovereignty, that will be used against you through the 12 different dimensions, which are the gates, all of which are hacked in the other worlds. Okay? And you might arrive at one of those and think, like I said, you made it to the void. Here's what to know about the void. There's nothing in the void. There are no orbs. There's no sound. There is no celestial singing even. If you're in the real void, there's nothing there. Okay? So if you're in a hacked realm, there'll be something there that is luring you in. Okay? Even when you're in the void, you don't feel necessarily the ecstasy until you come back into the body. So the other way to know that you're not in the void is if you're in this like ecstasy. Because when I used to visit Amritananda my ma, she knew who I was, obviously, and she would ask me to come up on the stage and like slap me in the head, and I would go into a state of ecstasy. You're not looking for that either, okay? That's the spiritual cocaine or the love bomb that people get in the near-death experience, where they're like, oh my gosh, you never felt such love before. In the void, you will not feel that. And there will be nothing and nobody there. That's why if you do the dismemberment journey with me, which is basically a death meditation, you're taking responsibility of letting your body go and going instantly to the void without a guide. You're not going to meet ancestors. There's nobody who's going to receive you. You have to have your full sovereignty and not be tricked. So let's look at some other things that the Egyptians did. So yes, the Hathor group would die and they'd go to a different level and another level and another. They called it the gates, okay? Another level, and they'd figure out what was the trickery at that level, and then someone would give them the antidote and they would come back. They had reached that level, and then they would explain, like, this is how we get out of here. We have, you might be confronted with a fake nirvana, a fake void, a fake crystal palace, like beautiful heaven, and you think you're in a new galactic civilization. All of that is part of it. And I've explained in my blogs again and again, all 12 dimensions here are copies of other realms that are true realms. And they're copied here because you'll have that sense of, familiarity, and this is where I belong. It's only through your own sheer will, without any attachments, without striking any deals, to know to not get sucked into any of those wormholes to those different gates or those different simulated realities in the 12th dimensional structure that is here. If you look at somebody like Bob Marley, who I really adore Bob Marley, his perpetrator, who apparently was working from some agency, admitted on his deathbed that he had given a set of sneakers that put some substance into Bob Marley's toe. You can look this up yourself. Bob Marley, is criticized. If anything that you look at, he's criticized for not taking action against his cancer. Like, there's endless blogs saying, he could have solved it, he could have fixed it, it was easy, they could have just cut his toe off, like all that stuff. Bob Marley knew he was not of this realm, and that's why he sang Exodus and my people, leave Babylon. The other thing about Bob Marley, if you study him, not only did he willingly give up his body, he left no contracts behind. This is tricky, okay? There's no contracts. He didn't leave a will. His estate, which must have been quite large, was not like left to anyone in particular. Whereas if you look at Dolores Cannon, her estate is still receiving money from her YouTube videos that are still being shared because, as I said, she's one of the perpetrators who recruit pure souls here. So she's continually receiving the funds from Babylon, this realm. You see? Look at the two of them. Bob Marley, so willing to leave, singing all the songs about, Ja people, let's leave this realm. Let's leave Babylon. Whereas we got Dolores Cannon going, oh, come on, more people, more pure souls, come and fix this. We got to fix Earth and all this stuff. And then she writes very clearly that we get reincarnated here because we failed to evolve. You can't evolve here, people. In fact, the current hack that happened to me is really evidence to me, again, that those of us who know what this realm is get the rape treatment, okay? And so, you know what? So what I did to that, like, I have a meat suit, so yeah, I had an adrenal response. It was very traumatizing. It was scary. And I had to get off of my internet server, get into a different, secure, private internet server and change all the passwords and the firewalls and all of that kind of stuff. Yes, so that has to happen. But then I was like, wow, I have so much attachment here. Oh my gosh, I have so much attachment here. So it changed my life because I understand this mechanic, right? Anything that you're attached to here can get you, even in the afterworld. So something has happened really dramatic. I got rid of everything personal. It's still, bags are going. Anything that was spiritually personal went into the wood stove. I burned it. Bags and bags of stuff. Personal photos of my family taken out of the picture frames. Everything, artwork, into the fire. Because just like in the video I did with Kisena, anybody that you still have the soul parts of, that you have had a trauma with, that you are bonded to in some way, you need to forgive, release, delete that memory, let it go. So I'm being very severe, and people might be like, oh my gosh, Lalita, what are you talking about? Like everything. Any religious text that has your name in it, you can, whatever, with the religious text, but rip the page out with your name and put it into the wood stove. So like Bob Marley, don't let anything in this realm keep you in a contract. Then if you also look at what the Egyptians were like buried with, some people think that they were putting those all in the crypt for their afterlife. I personally think that they were putting those in the crypt and then not allowing the crypt to be opened because they didn't want to be summoned by any of their personal objects. So I have a very different take on Egyptology than most people do. And so if you look at it, at first I was like, wow, they killed their cat, they killed their slave, sometimes even their wife were killed at their death and put into the crypt, along with, you know, their personal possessions and their favorite food and their, you know, whatever, and their incense. Why? Because those kind of spiritual things like incense or even your cat can be summoned. If you have read like the dark magic books, the Aleister Crowley stuff, you can be summoned from different realms, even from far galactic realms. So remember in that one video that I made about reorienting yourself after you realize that you're in a simulation? You may have broken back into the prison, or you may have been summoned, okay, with personal objects. All the crystals, all the stuff, your favorite like baby blanket, gotta go. Why are you attached to that? Don't ask me for a session for a dismemberment journey if you are attached to all the junk in this realm, okay? Other people have said to me, what about our animals? And, for me, it's like reverse Noah's Ark. Like all those animals were brought here, just like us. We were put here. And the animals are part of us. That story of the daemon with Lyra's daemon and how, if they got a hold of her daemon, they could torture it and therefore torture you. To me, the other thing is reverse Noah's Ark. So when I let my horses go, and yes, Curly and I have got the same thing. We endlessly have this lung inflammation from whatever hardware is being used against us here. When we go, we're going to the void. And so I'm directing my animals the best that I can as a death doula. Get out of here. Obviously, don't go to the light, but also don't be tricked because I'm never coming back here again. So don't look for me here. That is really why I believe that the Egyptians were buried with their cat and their favorite objects, their special stuff, because they didn't want to be summoned. And do you notice how like those tombs were not allowed to be opened? It's not because they were keeping that stuff for a successful afterlife. I truly believe that stuff was their personal objects and they did not want it to be used to summon them, especially like their incense. That's just really weird to me because you know how you can summon spiritual beings with incense? All of that stuff was locked down, not to be opened. Where it is now, where all the personal objects of everyone that the Smithsonian has, I don't know, maybe they're summoning those people back. I actually believe it works like that. So the first thing in leaving Central Jail, like Neem Karoli Baba, is to know it's Central Jail. Second thing is to not be attached to anything or anybody in this realm. If you're not into getting rid of your personal objects, don't worry. The realm will take them. I have a client, a really wonderful client, who had Pluto cross over her son and her house burned down. I was like, you're free, right? So anything in this realm that holds you tightly, start getting rid of it. In the pre-birth experience that someone shared on my Facebook page, I noticed that the guy was already in the matrix. I mean, he was in what he thought was heaven, which is within the 12th dimensional structure of the simulation. He was resisting going back. He was like, oh my gosh, these three beings in cloaks came for me. And I didn't want to go back. I kept telling them, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. And then, of course, they have the best deal for you. And they propose a deal. And the deal is, you'll be able to remember this place. We'll let you remember heaven. We'll let you remember this place where the love bomb is of ecstasy. But you got to go back. And so he made the deal. He made the deal within the structure, and he saw himself being like funneled down the wormhole technology, something he said that felt like he was going through water. And then he saw the realm. The realm is not blue and green. If you're above the superstructure, he said it looked like hell. He said he felt the darkness, he felt the evil, it was ghoulish looking. And then he went through the structure, which felt like water, and he was just absolutely going to be sure that he would remember heaven, which was already within the simulation in the Matrix. And he gave an account, very like all the other pre-birth accounts, of these three beings. Just like the near-death experience people, it's always these three beings, but I don't know, that could be hijacked too, so it might be four beings now. So, yeah. Anything that I say is going to inform the field of how to hijack it further. So even what I say, you got to be careful. You got to have your own sovereignty and your willpower to get out of here. But when he was coming back down, he saw it for what it really is. This is the river Styx. We're in hell, okay? And he came back in. His life has been very difficult. And he said those machine elves, which he didn't know what they were just these three beings in cloaks, were so full of love. But you see, I want to tell you something. That's your love that they are using. That love bomb, that ecstasy is actually what you are. And this whole matrix is an artificial construct built on the love, the golden-hearted purity that you are. And then you're sent down into this realm to be traumatized so they can like score more adrenal response, more trauma, more sadness. And everything here is what animates this matrix, which people call Earth. Even if you go into like the Voyager's material, which now that I have this new frame, I read it again. They even say this is a bridge project. This is an eternal life matrix. This is a matrix. You're in a matrix. Even all the Christic stuff is a matrix. It's a copy. It's a simulation. They're just posing as the good guys, okay? But within that document, it very clearly says, and I don't have the page in front of me, I've posted it a bunch of times on Facebook, that the next hack of this matrix, which is called the metaverse, is going to be an eternal death matrix. So that one, you're a hologram. You never get to have a biological human spacesuit, and you can't die. You're already dead. You're in like a holographic, disintegrating thought form, just like Zuckerberg. I can't say it because then, the video, just like the metaverse is explained, that you're a hologram. You never get to die again. So maybe some of us came back this time also to collect all our soul parts, get rid of all our personal attachments, delete all our memories, give back any soul parts that we're still holding on to through whatever trauma that we've had, and get out of here. Because the next one is very clearly explained by both the technologists and the Voyager's material as one that you can't get out of, because you won't have a biological spacesuit that you're wearing that allows you to leave. So this is a very important, what I'm going to call timeline. And some of my clients actually think that we're from the future and we came back to this timeline to get every bit of ourselves out of here, which includes all your personal attachments, your animals that you love. I call it the reverse Noah's Ark. I'm getting them all out of here. And maybe even to collapse this structure completely. I haven't done the session yet, but one of my clients said that there are other people who realize that some of us have come here to collapse this thing, because without us, this thing has no food. It requires that golden ecstasy that you are to run this thing. I've ordered a book by a guy named Howdy that I've only watched like 20 minutes of one video, because I'm not hanging out watching people's videos. This is stuff that I just know, okay? But I've ordered his Exiting the Cave book, because he seems to know that we're also, he calls it the slaughterhouse realm. Like, what also keeps you here is those soul fragments where you had a trauma with somebody and they're still holding a part of your soul, you're still holding a part of their soul. When I was studying shamanism, we did a really clear thing of the first thing you do is releasing anybody else's soul parts. And if you listen to that video, the Russian roulette of reincarnation, both Kisana and I are letting go of anybody who has traumatized us, because if you're holding hatred or anything for them, other than compassion that they were in hell too, and we harm each other here, we hurt each other here. So the first thing of shamanism was You got to let go of all the soul parts that you were part of the trauma from, and then receive and recollect your full soul, and then get out of here. Why? Now, a client that I had this morning said that Howdy says you got to do this recapitulation and go back through anyone you've ever had an experience with and do the basically life review on your own, which he says took him 3 years. I do it a really different way. I do this like delete button. Free everybody else that you've ever had a trauma with, and free them too. You don't need to hold on to any trauma that's ever happened to you here. Does it mean that I'm going to like hang out with those people that traumatized me? No, obviously not. I mean, you're not trying to re-traumatize yourself through forgiveness. You're just deleting that forever. So I'm not recapitulating the life review because, as Neem Karoli Baba said, it's all lies. It's all lies. So when Kabir and Chaitanya, my second husband Kabir, and my good friend Chaitanya collected all of those stories that Ram Dass then put in the book called Miracle of Love, Maharaji said, this is all lies, because it's all a lie. It's all illusory. Anything that ever happened was a screen. So I'm in not agreement with Howdy that you need to like reproduce all of these things and give yourself a life review. No, delete them all. They were all lies. Do not have any like trauma left in your body that attaches you to this realm. One person said to me, well, how can you not hate these people? I'm like, I don't hate Yaldabaoth. He's just coded as the severed one, like that's just what he is. So, I mean, there's not much that I can do by hating him. Then I'm just, agreeing to be in resonance with this realm, which I am not. That blog I did manage to copy and paste onto Lalita Astrology, and my name is lalitakaroli. That's currently my Facebook page. But someone else could hack that and put pictures of me. That's why I don't put personal pictures up anymore of what I look like. Someone could take a screenshot of me right now and put up a whole new Facebook page and pretend that it's me. So this realm, the less attached you are, the better, because the hacking level that just happened to me, like someone assumed my identity within my website and within my email and was buying other domain names pretending to be me. So what I did is I went into the back end and I canceled all my members. That was me. I canceled you all and put my videos all public. They're all free on Vimeo, which is a paid for business site of videos. So I had to basically do the like non-attachment hack to my own website because this thing was inside of my email and inside of my website pretending to be me, just like Kira explained in our video called Your Golden Compass. Someone got into her website and wrote a blog and pretended to be her. Folks, the website's gone, not attached to it. Very interesting, okay? Because I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna hack all my clients and pretend? Listen, you'll know me because I am a no shit type of person. Like, if anyone's trying to like scramble your brain and offer you something and it's not me, okay? I'm not trying to offer anybody anything. So if you get junk mail offering something from my former website, it's not me, okay? Don't be tricked and don't make deals, okay? It's very interesting. The site says that it's a dangerous site. Very interesting. Yeah, really dangerous to taking down this whole matrix. Okay. So there are other things that I still wanted to talk about. One of my clients, she said, I can't sustain my joy here. It just keeps circling around again and again and the same stuff. that's your astrology. Okay, that is what magnetizes in your life. So yeah, Nessus is going over my Chariklo and North Node in Pisces right now. There may be more hacks. There may be more, this morning I got a thing from PayPal, which was obviously a hack. It was some text message to, your account is being used nefariously. Don't respond, okay? If I need to, I'm going to take my whole PayPal down. And we're going to go to barter and trade if you want to talk to me, okay? The thing is, don't be attached to every hell level hack and trauma, and certainly don't make deals, okay? If they're going to take down my website, I'm going to take it down first. I'm going to cancel all of my members, okay? And that's what I did. So if you were a member, you got an email from me and a cancellation notice. All those videos are free now. So you see how Yaldabaoth and this whole realm works? Is it tries to traumatize you? You are a much more powerful being than that, okay? Now, you want to study astrology? I've got 147 videos, Galactic Astrology on Vimeo, okay, folks? Go ahead, study it, please, because all those other astrologists out there are kind of scary, other than my friend Alex, who gets it too. What else? Yeah, people are even calling me on the phone go, oh my gosh, you're hacked. Hey, I think we're not all hacked at every level here. Oh my gosh. So delete everything. Don't fall for the spiritual cocaine. Don't fall for the many different levels of heaven and nirvana and void that are within this matrix. Also, people said, well, how do you not hate them? I'm going to reveal some private stuff. The thing about this realm is that many beings are just coded, they were created like the Minotaur, right? They just came out demonic. You can defend yourself and be fierce and even wrathful without hating something. So if somebody is coming into my yard and gonna steal my property, which I did, I had a big trespass situation this year, I'm going to show up with my baseball bat and my video recorder. I mean, I don't just let people run me over. When you got to be fierce, be wrathful. And I told this story about how pathetic Lord Shiva is, because he's supposed to be the ruler of these ghosts and goblins and demons. And one of the stories of Kali in the Kali Yuga, which you're not in the Kali Yuga unless you're as fierce as me. The rest of you are in whatever weird realm with agreeing to being raped by demons and goblins. So Shiva would not do anything, and the people were going, oh my gosh, we get rid of all these ghouls, please. And Shiva was just smoking his chillum with his nice cobra around his neck, and the Ganges was coming out of the top of his hair, and he's all happy with this demonic realm. He's got his marijuana, he's doing well. So the people kept saying, come on. So they started calling Ma Kali, do something. So then Ma Kali came down, and she said, I'm going to deal with these demons. Now, a lot of people think that those severed heads and those many arms and that jackal next to her are just her defeating the ego. Ma Kali came back to cut off some heads, and not out of hatred, out of compassion. So when things are coded wrong here, there is this fallacy that you can't smack a GMO mosquito before it infects you with some weird plasma. No, bud. And you don't need the right mantra for it either. Smack it out of compassion, okay? Kill it. Look, I'm not a vegetarian. I was raised on a farm. There's nothing going on here but predatory action, all right? When you drink milk, you killed a baby cow, all right? I know, because I was raised on a dairy farm. There is nothing happening, including your vegan tofu, that didn't kill a bunch of moles and worms and other things, because I'm a garden expert. I know that there's nothing going on here but who eats who. It's a predatory realm. So let go of the guilt also. It's not just letting go of the personal pictures on the wall. It's letting go of all the guilt of this realm, that you shouldn't slap a mosquito, that you should just be friendly with people who are coded to be rapists. No, I mean, folks, don't be stupid. When you gotta be fierce, be wrathful. I remember writing that blog in 2019. It's gone now. Oh, and realize that you are enlightened. So this whole bullshit about like you're coming back here to evolve, no. You were born perfect, and perfect always remains. So that was all the Sanskrit mantras, that was my favorite mantra. Was like, look, the whole and perfect issues from the whole and perfect. And no matter what happens to the whole and perfect remains. You were born enlightened, and what happens here is basically a trauma bond program to harvest your perfect enlightened energy. So stop trying to be like, oh, I might get realized in 44,000 lifetimes from now. Folks, you're going to be in the eternal death matrix then as a hologram with no way out. And apparently they've already achieved that, and they're just uploading people to that matrix now. So no attachments. Get rid of your personal objects. Make sure you cannot be summoned. Look at Bob Marley, who was like, yeah, I'm not even leaving a will behind. There's no contract here. Exodus. Hear it, sing it, play it, dance to it, okay? Rastafarian people, my people, leaving Central Jail.